Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to my channel. My name is Layla, and in today's video I'm going to go through a quick little book haul that I did over the weekend. My best friend and I ended up hanging out on Saturday and watching the Little Mix last show virtually, of course, because we do not live in the UK, and then ended up heading off to the bookstore to pick up some books. She had a gift card, so we finally got a chance to hang out and go and do that. It has been a while, so we were both really excited to return to the bookstore and pick up all these great finds. We did end up making a second trip to Target, and I also picked up a book from there. I'm just going to go in the order that I have them stacked right now, just because I want to try and get through this as quick as possible. I won't go into too much detail about the books, only because I usually try to walk into books without knowing that much about them. I find that kind of increases my intrigue and makes me stay connected to the story a little bit longer. So I can tell you what drew me to the book, but not necessarily what the book is about, if that makes any sense. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the haul. Alright, I do have them stacked next to me. If you notice the camera moving at all, it's because Celine keeps bumping into the tripod. So she's trying to do her best assistant work today for me. So first up, I have the Sinister Sisters book club pick for June, which is Heartstopper Volume 1. This was recommended by Jen in our book club. She obviously noticed that it was coming out on Netflix and decided that she wanted to try reading it. So we decided to pick up this one. We do have like an option, I think, if we end up enjoying the first one, we can pick up the second one. It's not required. We're just going to be reading Volume 1 for the book chat, but we'll see how it goes. The only thing I know about this is that everybody loves it and it's so adored by so many people, and obviously that it's a Netflix show, and that Jen is really interested in reading it. So look forward to picking this one up in June. Next up, we have the manga series that I'm currently reading, and that is Black Butler Volume 9. And this is by Yana Toboso. I don't think I said Heartstopper was by Alice Oseman, but if I did not, it's by Alice Oseman. But for Black Butler, this is the first manga series that I ever read, and I actually fell in love with it after reading the first, I think, 2, and then I watched the anime on Netflix. Really fell in love with it on Netflix, and that's what kind of made me fall in love with the story. Only because the first one was kind of challenging for me because I hadn't ever read it before, or read manga before, so I was trying to get used to the format and how you read manga. So the first one was a little bit more of a challenge and it didn't draw me in as quickly. But after the second, third, fourth one, I ended up really loving it, and especially after watching it. So now I'm really obsessed with it. I'm really only on number 5, I think, in the reading, but I've been looking for number 9 for a while, so I figured I'd pick it up while it was actually in stock. Keeping with the theme of books that are kind of a different format than prose, I also picked up Avatar: The Last Airbender, Katara and the Pirate's Silver. This is one of the graphic novels that I don't have from the Avatar world, and it is about Katara, who gets separated from the group and has to work with an unlikely ally to get back to them. That's the only thing I know about it. It is very short. I do like to go into these relatively not knowing anything because of that. So I'm looking forward to picking this up relatively soon, especially because it's a very quick read. Wrapping up the different formats, we have Arusha and the End of Time by Roshni Chokshi. Well, the graphic novel inspired by the book that Roshni Chokshi wrote. And I picked this up because I kind of want to use this to determine whether or not I want to pick up the books in this series. I want to make sure that I'm invested before I decide to pick up a long middle grade series that I think is still going. I have read her YA books, and I'm in the middle of Gilded Wolves right now, so I really like her writing style, but kind of wanted to give it a little bit of a tester to see if I want to keep going with her younger books. So we'll see if we like this. Next up, I have a Cinderella retelling, The Shadow in the Glass by J.J.A. Harwood. This book caught my attention because it is a Cinderella retelling, but it has a little bit of like an Aladdin theme-ish to it. So it's about Ella, who is kind of stuck with her creepy stepdad as a maid, and she meets the fairy godmother, and the fairy godmother gives her 10 wishes, thus the like Aladdin thing that kind of came in for me. And each wish she makes comes at a price. So the premise is basically she has to decide if she's willing to pay that price. I kind of am really excited to pick this up because that's like a darker retelling of Cinderella, and I'm hoping that I enjoy it. Next up, I have a romance series. I did pick up the first, or at least the first 3 books that I am aware of. I picked up Promises and Pomegranates by Sav R. Miller, and the only reason I picked this one up is because I really wanted book 2, which is Virtues and Virtuosos, because this is a Orpheus and Eurydice retelling, and this is a Hades and Persephone retelling. The reason I'm a little bit nervous about this is because we are currently reading a Hades and Persephone retelling, A Touch of Darkness, by Scarlett Sinclair, for our May The Sinister Sisters book club pick. And I'm not sure that I really want to go from one Hades and Persephone retelling to another one, but I really, really wanted the Orpheus and Eurydice retelling. And I don't like reading romance books that are supposed to be part of a series out of order. I've done it several times and it always leaves me more confused. So I'd rather just read them in order. I'm not trying to judge this too harshly because I love the cover. It's absolutely stunning. And I do like Hades and Persephone retellings. So I'm just worried about reading it so close behind. So I might actually put this series on hold for a second. But because I bought books 1 and 2, and there was only one of book 3 left, I also picked up Oaths and Omissions, also by Sav R. Miller. And so I have 3 books in a romance. So I really, really hope that I like the first 2 because I picked up the third one. I can't figure out who the third one is supposed to be a retelling of. So if I can figure that out before I publish this video, I will put it in here somewhere. But I am really excited to pick up the trilogy, hopefully liking book 1, but I'm really, really excited for book 2. Next up is a continuation of a series that I started. I really should have put this closer to the front with the other ones, but I did pick up Fruits Basket, the Collector's Edition Volume 3 and Volume 4 because I'm currently in the middle of this series. The reason I picked up Fruits Basket originally, I picked up book 1 because my best friend is obsessed with them and she really encouraged me to read them, and I can actually talk about what this one's about because I've read the first 2. The first one follows Toru, who is homeless when she first encounters some guys who find her kind of hiding out, and they bring her home, and in exchange for kind of taking care of them, both like in the like maid sense and like cooking meals and stuff, they let her live with them. The secret of the guys is that they all turn into the Chinese zodiac when they're touched by somebody by the opposite gender. And that was kind of an interesting take on them, so I'm really, really excited to keep going. The first one was a little bit slow for me, but I did really enjoy the second one, so I'm really excited to get on with books 3 and 4. And if I didn't say, they are a manga series. Should have gone earlier in the video. So the last 2 are not technically part of the same series, but they're in the same world. I did pick up Star Wars Queen's Hope by E.K. Johnston. This book is the 3rd one in the series that she's written about Padme. Like I said, I really don't know that much about this trilogy, but I do have books 1 and 2. And now that I have the 3rd one, I'm really excited to get to them. I do love the Star Wars universe, so I'm really, really excited to get into this. I've loved Star Wars since I was a kid, and my dad introduced me to the first 3 Star Wars movies, and then I watched the prequels when I was in high school. Absolutely loved them, which brings me to my last pick, which was the one book that I got from Target, and it's called Brotherhood by Mike Chen. And I only picked this up for the sheer fact my favorite character is on the cover. I loved Obi-Wan in movies 1 through 3, and I also enjoyed his character in movie 4. But he is my favorite character in the Star Wars universe, so I couldn't resist picking this one up as well. don't know too much about it. I can tell you it's sometime after the start of the Clone Wars, just by the way that they look on the cover, and I am very excited to pick it up eventually. I do have a bit of a Star Wars collection in my possession, so hopefully I can sit down and actually start reading them and get them knocked off of my TBR, because I really, really love the world building. One of the few sci-fi books that I can sit and read for a long period of time that are this length. The other sci-fi books that I read tend to be pretty short, just because it's not a genre I tend to navigate towards. The reason I ended up filming my haul in the middle of the month is because I wanted to try and get these books up and on my shelves, just because if I don't, they'll sit on the floor forever. So I do want to make sure that I can get them put away and into their new home and nice and organized before I forget to put them away and they just sit on my floor for the next several months. Right, and that is my book haul. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you in my next one. Bye!